show the little neck off for the motherfucker. Show the neck off, motherfucker. You feel what I'm saying? You feel me? Add a little delay. Don't worry about it though. But yeah, we back and better. I hope y'all doing good this morning because I'm doing good. Let's go ahead and clock in, man. You know, I'm doing my streams every day. I ain't getting missing no days. On them grave. Like Kevin Gates, I don't get tired, nigga. I don't get tired. I do this shit. Monday to Sunday, and I wake up on Monday and I do it again. Yeah. You don't know no nigga like me. You don't know a nigga that do it like that, do you? Let's go ahead and get into it because Wemby just dominated all over Chet. All did he, because he's bogus. A little delay, I don't give a damn.
What in the world did we just witness? The emotions escalated in Game 7.
Broken up by Castle. Chased by Caruso. Castle with a hard foul from Caruso.
Come on now. Come on now, Caruso. You know that's not righteous. You know that's not righteous.
They are gonna look
not what we're looking
A
for.
generational choke job and some superhuman plays.
Goes to the basket. Open waiting. Wembanyama throws it
They say that's the moment that Chet lost his soul for the game. I seen somebody say that on TikTok. Off on the grave. They say as soon as they seen that happen, Chad started playing like a hoe for the rest of the game. You know when that happened? In the first quarter. I mean, his ass was off the whole game. Booty, dookie, booty flakes, booty crumbs. That's what he was doing. And you need to trade that boy.
How about the give and go and then back cut by Wemby?
Meeting for the 12th time this year with the
Right.
NBA Finals on the line, Wembanyama and SGA went all in right from the jump.
in a Game 7 at a conference final, nonetheless.
That nigga's 7 feet tall. What are you gonna do? He's 7 foot tall.
Homage to Tim
You
Duncan.
know, respect.
Vassell guarding SGA. Turns for space.
And then he can
Shea
do it.
answers Wemby's bank shot by swishing the tough fadeaway, but no one in the arena was
We
ready for this.
ballin'. Okay.
Goes to the basket. Open waiting. Wembanyama throws it on his head.
Jeez, that was
That's what
an
I'm talking
early
about.
statement
That's what
done
I'm
by
talking
the
about.
alien.
You see that nigga face? Did you see his face? That was pure hate in that man's face, man. That's man. He wants to catch a body. He want a real body on that court, and he caught one on your starting whatever power forward. His ass needs to be a bitch player, a bench player, a bitch player. Get off the court. Go to the G League with that weak ass attitude. You been letting this nigga dominate you the whole series. Every time y'all match up, he been publicly talking shit about you, saying, "Yeah, man, I don't like this nigga. I'm gonna whoop his ass every time I play him. He ain't on shit." And you ain't said nothing on or off the court to deny that fact. Pathetic, nigga. Pathetic. You just not worth it. That's why the big OG Wemby just had to baptize you, let you know what it was real quick, nigga. Get out my conference, nigga. Get out the conference.
Over his nemesis, and it must have gotten his teammates pumped up as well because
Luke Cornett at the table usually comes in for Wembanyama. Fox trying to get hot.
Ooh.
De'Aaron Fox, if he has a big shooting game, look out. There's somebody else waiting
Ooh.
for him.
Yes, and he looked off with his eyes, and that's what froze the second line of defense. And Champagne
Okay.
gets the pass and knocks down the three-pointer.
5+ of this one, and Fox the knockaway. Vassell on the push. Holmgren back. Vassell
Okay.
follow up by Castle.
This nigga's going crazy.
Timeout, Oklahoma City.
That nigga
Stephon
going crazy. He can't
Castle
even fuck
follows
with
the
the young
action
boys.
perfectly and jams in
Young
the
boys turn.
putback for a 10-point Spurs lead. And with Victor on the bench, this turned into a battle of the guards with OKC clearly lacking the scoring boost of J-Dub and AJ Mitchell.
He knocks down his second field goal. 5 points. Caruso with
That
the
hurts.
Cornett score.
That hurts.
Castle right at SGA. Stays with them. Got him in the air.
Doing this to this at home. This at home too. This is just disrespectful.
Nice find. Hartenstein trying to get Caruso.
Oh no. Oh
It's a
no.
fifth turnover
Oh
for the
no.
Thunder in the first 6:45. Vassell on a drive. Porter finds Champagne. Got them all.
They was cooking their ass. I ain't gonna lie. I was watching the game for a little bit. They was cooking their ass when I was watching this. It got bad fast. It got bad so fast. I ain't gonna lie to you, bro. I thought it was gonna be a good game. It was gonna go to like overtime or something. No. OKC just wasn't able to do it. And I feel like they wouldn't have been in this position if they didn't do all that foul baiting. And it happened. They would have made it to the finals. But them niggas be thinking they gotta foul on every shot attempt, make they change their shot direction and jump into the defender. We don't respect that. If Kobe was alive, he'd crucify these niggas. RIP to go. These niggas got the game fucked up.
And the Spurs lead by 14.
Champagne hits his second three of the night to put his team up by 14 points. Let's go. However, the Thunder still have a solid scoring option in Jaren McCain, who got busy near the end of the first quarter.
Yeah.
SGA.
The 76ers decided to trade him for whatever reason. Lost the game, lost the series because of it.
Wemby, McCain floats back. He can hit that. He did hit that.
McCain managed to cut the deficit in half with 8 of his 12 points in the period.
Come on now.
And before we move on to the second, I gotta show you this.
Fox attacks the basket. Harrison Barnes, the vet, just in. Wembanyama, Hartenstein got hit by the mouth. A loose
Ooh.
ball foul here on the
Did it
floor.
happen for real?
On Hartenstein.
That looked like it was
Someone
real.
grabbing
That happened
his
for real.
mouth.
I just love the fact that Wemby embraced the physicality and showed numerous times in this series that he's willing to get down and dirty with OKC. Anyway, we continue the basketball activities with Victor hitting his first three of the night right here, keeping the pressure high on Mike
Like that.
Daignault. So, facing a do-or-die scenario, SGA knew that it was time to take matters into his own hands.
Yeah, if you're the MVP, bro, you gotta do MVP shit.
Shows us Alexander wants to have that party.
This is the
again.
shit we like.
Next ball.
That's the shit we like.
Took contact and hit the ground. Back inside.
Sham wow. From the grave.
And that's two
Yeah,
of the
no.
times right there that the Thunder.
Shows us Alexander. the
Sham
move,
wow.
The pull up.
Yeah, no. I'm fun of great. That's the SGA we love, bro. If he could just play like that every time, he would have no haters, bro. He would be the most ethical hooper of all time. Like, he would get Kyrie Irving's level of love if this nigga really just played like that every time. He stopped with the foul bait and shit. I think he's gonna do that next year. I think they're gonna build around him. I think he's gonna be incentivized to not do that shit no more. I think that's what's gonna happen. He can do that. We might have to have some uncomfortable conversations. Some very uncomfortable conversations about this nigga one of the GOATs. Because if you win another ring and like win another MVP, I mean, you know, D-Wade, you might have to get out of there.
Okay, a little 7-0 blitz by the MVP got the Thunder within 4 points. And after Castle was able to stop the bleeding for the Spurs for just a moment, Alexander was back at it again.
Clock at 8.
But they're playing into their hands. 1-on-5. Yes, he makes it, but they're loading
Ain't getting it.
up on him.
I love a good game.
Both trying to either extend the lead or cut into this lead.
SBA. Having a corner.
And what I like about it,
Shea caps off an electric 13-3 run all by himself to make it a 1-point game. It's
on, Greg.
on now. You could feel that the tension was brewing.
Caruso, tricky dribble. The handoff crooked.
What the hell was that, AC? That's why you're not the ball handler, bro. Stick your ass on defense.
With a hard foul
He was
from
mad.
Caruso.
See, he was frustrated.
Spurs bench there.
Child Dylan Harper.
Oh, Caruso slams Castle on the ground and Harper holds him down to prevent the situation from escalating. It shocked me that the refs held the common foul even after the replay. This must be a flagrant any day, any time. Regardless, the Thunder capped off the comeback
home,
with
no.
this
They're at
floater
home,
by
you know.
Jalen Williams off of SGA's assist.
Light-skinned
But the
dude.
Spurs made sure to pick up the slack and finish the first half strong.
Castle on the pitch. Gotta shoot quick. Fox the three. De'Aaron Fox.
Well, look up something for
Gilgeous
y'all.
Alexander. Dort couldn't get to it. Hit ahead. It's Castle. To the
Look up
basket.
something for y'all.
Stephon can't finish, but Keldon Johnson does. Follow the play up. Spurs by 1. Gets it back. Late in the shot clock. Wembanyama banks it in.
Wemby banks in the tough bucket over Williams to give his team a 3-point lead heading into the break. The first half ending reminded me of the famous quote from Rocky. It ain't about how hard you get hit, it's about how hard you can get hit and keep moving forward.
That's definitely true. And that's 100% true because I love a redemption story, bro. And Chet was getting fucked up by Wemby in the first half. But I want you to do an over-under right now on how many points you think he ended with. If you got it over 15, let me get a thumbs up. If you got under 15, let me get a thumbs up too. You feel me? Let me get a follow too. No, for real though, comment what you got right now. Because the drum roll actual answer is 4 points. 1 for 2 from the field, 0 threes attempted, 2 for 4 for free throws, 4 rebounds, 2 steals, 2 blocks, 2 turnovers, and a negative plus minus. I think it's time for Chet to get traded, put in the house, go get the Greek freak. I feel like it makes sense. He likes a small market. OKC is low-key a small-ass market. It's just OKC, like, you know?
What's a better way to move forward than this?
Spurs shooting 49%, Thunder 47 from the field. Wemby on the attack. He started outside the paint and throws it down. He gets inside. Wembenyama blocks it, knocks it out of bounds.
Wembenyama rocks the rim over 2 defenders in traffic and then shuts down SGA
Over
on the other end. That's a guy on a mission.
But your boy Chet
had a
can't do nothing.
response ready in no time.
As far as the rest of this game,
Your boy Chet
keep
soft.
stacking good possessions.
Your boy Chet can't do nothing.
That's the formula.
What your boy Chet gonna do?
Jason Wallace brings
Not a damn thing.
in. Fox takes it away on the turnover. Gilgeous Alexander knocked it away. Dort to the net. Tying up. Hartenstein trying to get a timeout call. And the Thunder do get the timeout call.
Champagny, who's now in 14 points here.
An 8 in a row, Reg. All 8 in this Spurs run. That Gilgeous Alexander brings to an end.
Alexander
hooping.
doesn't make the
Nigga
same
hooping.
mistake
I can't hate
twice
on
and
it.
steps back for the J over
Trying to find a
Victor.
reason.
Jared McCain on
Can't hate
the
on
other
it.
hand grabbed Vassell and threw him over his shoulder.
This game 7 with the Knicks waiting. The NBA Finals starting Wednesday. McCain and Vassell go down here.
Oh,
And the foul. Vassell is asking for the review as McCain is going to get called for the pull.
However, the entire stretch belonged to another guy.
8-0 run for the Thunder, ended by a Champagny 3. Wembenyama rolls to the basket. Champagny free for 3.
McCain fell down.
follow Gray.
Rookie on the push.
Follow Gray.
To Champagny.
Follow.
Wembenyama
Yeah.
down. Champagny
Ah,
knocks down the 3.
Heat
Ah.
check. Julian Champagny hits 3 bombs in a row to put San Antonio up by 8 points. After hitting just 6 shots from downtown on a measly 20% through the first 4 games, he finally showed up in games 5, 6, and 7. And
It's bad,
Wemby
man.
prolonged the
It's
Thunder's
bad, man.
misery.
At the line, he's going to take the 3.
It's bad, man.
Wembenyama's second three-pointer. It's a 16-2 run.
The Spurs executed a huge 16-2 run in a crucial moment of the game to put them up by 11 points. So, facing another deep character test, OKC turned to their back.
I want to read you the stats. We don't even have to read the rest of the game. We'll read you the stats. Are you ready? Let's get it. Hartenstein, number 55, 21 minutes, 7 points, 3 for 7 from the field. Chet Holmgren, 33 minutes, 4 points, 1 for 2 from the field. Lou Dort, 16 minutes, 3 points, 1 from 4 from the field. Those are the starters. Then you got some people, you know, Caruso gonna get his 39 and 12 with 3 for 14 from the field. That's what happens when you give up ethical basketball. Then you got goddamn Jay Williams, light skinned Duke, you know what I'm saying? He got 26 minutes, 11 points, 5 for 9. I'm not gonna give you a bell for that. You know, you get a nice little, you get respect. You get respect for now. But that's the tell of the game right there. Them niggas suck. They bench soft. People did get hurt, but them niggas soft, man. They wasn't ready for it. That's what happens when you don't play ethical fucking hoops, my nigga. That's what happens. That's what happens. So shout out to the goddamn Knicks. Shout out to the Spurs, because they're going to play a real ethical series. I love that. They're going to hustle, and we're going to see who the best one is. Is the freak, the new alien, the new freak better? Or it's a hometown hero who's going to get it together, you know what I'm saying? Because I would love to see the Knicks just whoop that ass. I would love to see that. Funnel grade. The Knicks just come out there and they just, now I ain't saying like they got to sweep them. But the Knicks like whooping ass, I would be very happy with that. I would be very, very happy with that. You don't know how happy I would be to see the Knicks actually do something. Because they deserve it. After that bullshit Melo was on some bullshit. keeping it 100. I ain't gonna sit here and lie to you. Like, I always thought Melo was a bitch ass nigga. I'm gonna be real. The only reason I did though is because he could have came to Chicago and tried to get a ring, but he took more money just to stay in the Knicks and not win shit, and knew he wasn't gonna win shit. That don't sound righteous to me. That don't sound like a real nigga to me. That sound like a real nigga to you? I don't think so. I don't think so. I think there's a disconnect there. So, you know, shout out Melo in real life, you know, but as a hooper, as like, yeah, no, I wasn't really fucking with that right there. Wasn't really fucking with that one right there, brother. We're gonna have to see what's going on with that one right there, brother. But the NFC North, definitely one of the most competitive divisions right now, and I'm happy to see because I'm a Bears fan. You know, I'm a Bears fan, man. You know, I love that shit. So I can't wait to see what Caleb Williams does this year. I can't wait to see what Luther Burden does this year. I can't wait to see what everybody does this year because we got to keep this shit going, you know? We got to make sure that we are the best in the division by a long shot. Long shot. Hold on. I'll close that door. Close that door. Hey, close that door. And always fuck the pack. You know how we go. Bears up, packs down. You know, get the cheese graters out. You know how it goes down over here. Real hate. Runs in my runs in my veins. Excuse me. Pardon me. Really from Chicago.
Whenever you think of Super Bowl contenders, there's probably a handful of teams that come to mind. The Seahawks, Rams, Patriots, and Broncos all come to mind immediately, and a few others too, and for good reason. But with those teams we just mentioned, like the Seahawks, Rams, Patriots, and Broncos, they all have a clear cellar dweller in their division. The Raiders, while yes, I do like what they're doing, just finished with the worst record in the league. The Cardinals have had 4 wins or less in 3 of the last 4 years, and the Jets and Dolphins are not exactly inspiring teams either.
No.
And when you look at the most complete division in all of football, it is the NFC North. All 4 teams finished with a winning record in 2025, and entering 2026, you can make a case as to why each team could win the division this year.
Honestly, that's true. You can say the Super Bowl can really come and run through the NFC North. That's not crazy to say. But really, you know how long it's been since like every team in the division has been like competitive? It hasn't been like that for a long time, since like AP days. Like, even then, the Lions were never really competitive until now. The Lions went through a long drought of just not being shit. And I don't even hate the Lions. Like, the Lions are cool, you know? I don't really feel a way towards the Lions. I feel sorry for the Lions. The Vikings, I feel nothing for you at all. We always whoop that ass. Y'all don't win shit. You're pathetic. We just gonna put that out there right there. You're sad. We don't show any Vikings fans respect. Not out here. Not out here. And the Packers, you know, it's always fuck the pack. But it's fuck the pack for a reason. It's fuck the Vikings just because they're irrelevant.
And in today's video, we're going to break down why the NFC North is the most complete division in all of football. And there's a lot to break down, and if you could like the video before we start, a football will appear when you do and would be very much appreciated.
Yes,
with
to
that
get it
preface
down,
out of the way,
twin.
let's begin.
Yes, to hit you down, twin.
And we are starting today's video with the Green Bay Packers. The Packers finished the 2025 season with a 9-7-1 record and made the playoffs for the 6th time in the last 7 years. They lost in the wildcard round of the playoffs to the Bears with a score of 31-27 in what was a huge collapse, as the Packers were up 21-3 at half. And while it was a very unfortunate end of their season, I don't think the Packers are doomed heading into 2026, and that they're destined for their 3rd straight wildcard round loss. There's absolutely nothing about this that should be a hot take, but I, and a lot of other people, thought the Packers season was over the minute Micah Parsons went down with a torn ACL. And when you have a Hall of Fame caliber player go down, naturally your season is going to be altered, period. And Green Bay entered the postseason on 4 straight losses, including a game against the Ravens in which they allowed over 300 yards rushing and 41 points on their home field. They also had Tucker Kraft go down with a torn ACL midway through the year, and again, when 2 of your best players go down, you're fighting an uphill battle, especially when one of those players is the only player in NFL history to have 12 or more sacks in each of his first 5 seasons.
That's true, but his next man up is no excuses, right? What happened to no excuses, next man up? You got to do what you got to do. Now we're just blaming it on injuries. Oh, no, let me tell you something. They were up on us both times. They just couldn't score anymore. facts or cap. That sounds like an offensive problem to me. So it sounds like the offense is the real issue. The defense had some problems, they had some holes, but I don't think Jordan Love is the guy to get it done. I've always been saying that. Like I've been saying that ever since they drafted him. He's decent. Like he's solid, but he's not Caleb Williams. Caleb Williams has the potential to be generational. Jordan Love does not have the potential. People don't believe it, but that's true.
So the biggest thing with Green Bay in 2026 is health. And when they have a healthy Micah Parsons, they are a very good football team that can compete with anyone. Now, they did lose Romeo Doubs in free agency this offseason to the Patriots, but in typical Packer fashion, they have a plan and have a guy ready to step up, and that, of course, is 2025 first-round pick Matthew Golden. Golden finished 4th on the team in receiving yards last year with 361, and him, Jaden Reed, and Christian Watson are going to lead the receiving room this year.
Yeah.
And when you look at this
That's
team
solid.
on
That's
both sides
solid,
of football, they have such a high floor because, as simple as it is, they have so many good football players on this roster.
That's true.
I truly believe Jordan Love is a great quarterback, and from where he was when he took over in 2023, at least at the beginning of the 23 season, to where he is now, I think he's gotten substantially better. And I think he got substantially better throughout the 23 season, and we saw that in the postseason with how he played against Dallas that year. I am willing to dismiss a lot of the 2024 season from Jordan Love because of the injury he sustained in Brazil in Week 1, and none of us actually know how healthy he was throughout that entire season. And one of the biggest reasons I'm willing to dismiss that year is because of how he looked throughout the entire 2025 season.
He did he's throwing balls that hurt.
Who's in complete control of the offense and one of the best in the world at what he does. Where I feel for Jordan Love is the comparisons to 2 first-ballot Hall of Famers throughout his entire career, which, of course, is something he can't control, in Brett Favre and Aaron Rodgers, but there's a lot of teams that wish they had Jordan Love as their starting quarterback. Josh Jacobs.
I mean, that's very true. There's a lot of teams that wish they could have him as a starting quarterback, but, also, there's a lot of teams that wouldn't mind being mediocre. It hurts. Truth hurts, doesn't it? Truth hurts. You don't mind being mediocre. Of course you want a nigga like Jordan Love. That's what you're used to. Nothing different. It's like the Bucks. They're lucky Tom Brady decided to bless them because that's what Baker Mayfield is. You know what I'm saying? He's mediocre. He's middle of the pack. Sorry. Love him to death. But that's just what it is, bro. You want an average quarterback, an average time, get Jordan Love.
Has 30 total touchdowns since becoming a Packer just 2 years ago, and I really like the playmakers this team has at every level of the defense. Edgerrin Cooper is a great player, and I really like the safety room and the defensive back room with Evan Williams and Xavier McKinney. Statistically speaking, if you say the Packers are not going to the Super Bowl this year, you would obviously be right, but simply counting them out and thinking they're going to have an ending to their season just like last year,
they're going to come back.
Typical from Matt LaFleur or whatever justification you want to use in the summer.
They're going to come back for sure.
Starts is not one I can get behind. This is a really good team, and it's not a coincidence they were 9-3-1 before Micah Parsons unfortunately tore his ACL last year. Now, before we continue, social media...
That's true. I give him... I'm not the type of guy that's always going to hate on the Packers. Like, if it's some real shit, I'm going to listen to the real shit. I'm not going to sit here and be like, oh, yeah, the Packers just suck. I can't stand the Packers. The Packers are just, oh, my God. Now, I'm going to listen to it. They do have a great receiving room. Not going to lie to you. We'll say that. Their receiving room does compete with ours. They have a great D-line, even though it does live and die with Micah Parsons. Way better than our shit. Good linebacker core. I like ours better. Good DB room. I like ours better now. They're solid. Nice offensive line. Matt LaFleur is a good play caller. He's rivaling Ben Johnson for real. So it's like, hey, I can't hate. I can say some shit, but I can't hate.
Minnesota Vikings are up, and I'll go ahead and address the elephant in the room. I am a Vikings fan. I don't shy away from that. And regarding this portion of the video, if you think, great, he's biased, he's going to gas this team up, I would say I am significantly more fair on this team than really any other team, because I would argue that I am more pessimistic about this team than I am optimistic. And last year was a tremendous example whenever things were playing out in real time, because as you can imagine, as a Vikings fan, I want my team to eventually win a Super Bowl, and whenever they make moves that I don't think are great for the outlook of the franchise, I'm going to voice my opinion. And anyways, my point here with the outlook of the 2026 Vikings is I don't know how you could look at what they did this offseason and think that it's going to get worse from where they were last year to where they are now. Now, we actually had a video on Tuesday that was a your take, not mine type video where people submitted takes and I responded to takes, and the Vikings were actually within that video as well. I recommend going to check that out at the end. But what I will hammer home with the Vikings outlook this year is cumulatively between Carson Wentz, J.J. McCarthy, Max Brosmer, and even Cam Akers actually threw a touchdown last year. So when you add all four of those players' numbers together, the Vikings as a team threw 18 touchdowns to 21 interceptions. And
that's why they weren't ever going to be a threat until they got K1. And they had to go get him on a redemption tour, too. I think K1's going to tear the NFC North up. Not lying. I think he's going to tear it up. I think people are really underestimating his Vikings. I'm taking the Vikings as a threat.
What do you think of Kyler Murray? Whether you think he could legitimately be this team's starting quarterback for the next 3, 4, 5, maybe 7 or 8 years, whatever, or you think he's going to flame out of the league in a year or two, I kind of ask this question as simple as the idea is, do you think Kyler Murray, in what will unequivocally be the best situation of his career, be worse than 18 touchdowns to 21 interceptions? And I think the answer to that is no. I don't know how you could reasonably justify Kyler being that bad this year. And if he was that bad, then I think Kevin O'Connell would turn the franchise over to J.J. McCarthy. And I will also say this, maybe this is a hot take, we'll certainly discuss this a lot more whenever the Vikings team preview comes out later this summer. But I don't think that the quarterback competition is going to automatically be handed to Kyler Murray, and that it's just going to be a competition in quotations. Because what I will hammer home is J.J. McCarthy showed flashes throughout the 2025 season towards the end of the year. His work ethic is off the charts, and this is a player that physically...
This is true. I will say that you can say his athleticism jumps off the chart. He's a nice player. He's a good player. I will say he's determined to be ass. That's what he's determined to do. Come on now. 1,600 passing yards, 11 passing touchdowns, 12 interceptions, 72.6 passer rating. Nigga barely cut in the middle of the pack. This was Kirk Cousins throwing this shit, you'd want his head. Come on. Be real. I don't like when people just cap just because, you know what I'm saying, he run a championship. Oh, man, he was supposed to be nice. We drafted him high. That's y'all dumbass fault. The only reason they won a championship is because they was running that bitch behind Blake Kerm and all the rest of them. And they had a pretty good play-action game.
Speaking, very clearly has all the tools to be able to play at the NFL level. My whole point here with the Vikings quarterback situation this summer is I think there's going to be a healthy quarterback competition that will bring out the best of both players. And again, this is coming off of a year in which the Vikings still won 9 games. They still finished with a winning record. And this is not to throw salt into the wound or to show it to Lions fans or any of that, because whenever it mattered in 2024 in Week 18, the Lions absolutely humbled the Vikings at Ford Field, and they won by over 20 points, so they can very much bring that up at any point. But what I'm saying here is the Vikings swept the Lions last year in a game quarterbacked by J.J. McCarthy, and they also ended the Lions season on Christmas Day in a game where the Vikings had 3 net passing yards. If there was ever a game where the Lions were absolutely going to show up last year, where it was hell or high water, backs are against the wall, it was going to be that game. And again, the Vikings won by double digits because Jordan Addison had a rushing touchdown with a couple of minutes left in the game, so they won 23-10. They won by double digits in a game where Max Brosmer led the team to 3 net passing yards.
Yeah, that's pathetic. That's pathetic. Honestly, it really just lives and dies with the quarterback. If they can have a better quarterback situation they did last year, they're going to be good. If they can't if they're going to get anything close to as bad as it was last year, they're cooked. I feel like regardless of that, Brian Flores led defense. A lot of killers, a lot of studs on that defense. Defense never was really the issue. Offense is ready to go with Jordan Addison, Justin Jefferson, and I forgot who the running back is, but it doesn't really matter as long as he's solid. You're good. You just need K1 to come in there and just sew things up. And I think that K1 can truthfully do that. Personally, if we're being real about it. I feel like they can do it, and time for him to do it. Because if he don't do it now, his career is fucking over with. Doesn't do it now. over. Career is definitely like bad. Really bad, man. Really bad. Let's go ahead. You know I had to make it special for the Bears. I don't like it. They don't like it that we're on the cover of Madden. They don't like it that we're confident in Caleb Williams. They don't like it that we know we're the shit. Like it. But it's cool. They don't gotta like it. They gonna respect this shit though. I love it. I love that feeling. I ain't felt like this since Mr. Trubisky was on that run in 2018, boy. I was finna show my ass. And then whatever happened, a double dunk happened. But now we got Caleb. We're good.
The first time they won a playoff game since 2010, so it was a pretty magical year to say the least. But it didn't start out that way, as after the first 2 weeks of the season, they were 0-2 as they lost 2 division games, one of which was a blown double-digit lead to the Vikings on Monday Night Football, and the other was a 31-point loss to the Lions in Week 2. Now, with the 2026 Bears and how they attack their offseason, I feel like there is an elephant in the room, and it's their pass rushing situation. Their top 4 edge rushers entering 2026 are Montez Sweat, Dayo Odengbo, Jeremiah Martin, and Austin Booker. And I understand the concern entering this year, but even with the concern they have with their pass rush, I still think this team has a high floor for a few reasons. We saw firsthand how much this fan base turned around in 1 year, having Ben Johnson as the team's head coach compared to Matt Eberflus. And
Definitely.
in Ben Johnson's first year as the team's head coach, they finished 3rd in yards per carry as a team, 3rd in rushing yards, and had the least amount of turnovers of any team in the NFL. Now,
Definitely.
there is a part of this to where you can think the Bears are going to regress in 2026 that will inevitably affect their record this year, and that, of course, is turnover margin. Chicago forced 33 turnovers last year and had an NFL best plus 22 turnover margin, which I do think is fair to say, and I would be shocked if Bears fans didn't agree with this. They're probably not going to have a plus 22 turnover margin 2 years in a row.
No, definitely not. Honestly, a lot of those picks, like, they were good picks, but a lot of shit just has to go your way for that many interceptions, that many turnovers to go your way. So I don't think we're going to have that many turnovers. I would really trade the turnovers for us to have a solid defense that can stop the run and force them to pass, and then we can really lock in on the pass defense. That's what I would really want. Because we've been getting ran all over for a few years now. You know, it's get kind of scary. It gets kind of bad, you know? So hopefully we can get that sewn up, and I'll really trade the turnovers for that. I'll be happy.
But the biggest thing with this team, as cliche as it is, are you going to bet against a team coached by Ben Johnson and quarterbacked by Caleb Williams regularly? And the answer to that is no, because the bottom line with this team, with who they have at quarterback and who their play caller is, if they get to the 4th quarter and the game is within 10 points, there's a chance the Bears win. They know
Definitely.
it, and their opponents know it too.
Definitely.
But I don't want this to come across as their success only being a product of Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams. Ben Johnson knows firsthand how important the run game and offensive line play is, which is why Chicago made it such a priority last year to rebuild their trenches the way they did. And guess what? It worked. Having center Drew Dahlman retire certainly threw a wrench in their plans for the 2026 season.
Yeah, that was crazy.
Their
That was
offensive
crazy.
line is still good because of guys like Joe Thuney, the 2025 Protector of the Year, Jonah Jackson, and Darnell Wright. And I'm also excited to see how Ozzie Trapillo plays in year 2. But one of the other reasons Chicago is, and why I think they will continue to be successful offensively, is due to the emphasis on the 2-back usage with DeAndre Swift
Definitely.
and Kyle Monangai, the same way the Lions did under Ben Johnson with Jahmyr Gibbs and David Montgomery. And of course the receivers in Rome Odunze, Luther Burden, who I believe is a budding star, and tight ends Colston Loveland and Cole Kmet. Also shout out to 3rd-round rookie Sam Roush, who will help in the run game too. So when you look at the 20...
You know what the craziest part about that is? A lot of people are going to be like, oh, you don't have a real number 1 receiver. You don't have a real stud. Let me tell you something. Rome or Luther can be number 1 right now. We're not going to play any games. We're not going to play those games. They can be number 1 right now, depending on like who comes out better in camp. But truthfully, I feel like the main thing is I love about the offense that we can throw to so many different people each week and we can get everyone involved. So if we don't have a 1,000-yard passer or a receiver, that's cool. As long as we can get everybody involved and we can win, I don't really give a damn. That shit overrated. Fuck. But I don't give a damn if this nigga wrong or Luther don't get 1,500 passing receiving yard. I don't give a damn. As long as we can go what? We go undefeated and that shit don't happen. I'm cool.
2026 Bears offense, a team that in theory should only get better with the continuity in Ben Johnson's offense, along with younger players getting better over the course of the offseason of their careers, assuming relative good health, of course. What do you really think this team's floor is offensively? Top 12, maybe 13th or 14th on the extreme low end? This is a very good team that has completely flipped everything around in a little over 365 days. Sure, maybe they're not Super Bowl favorites, or maybe they don't get there this year, but with Ben Johnson and Caleb Williams, and with how high of a floor this team has offensively, I would be very surprised if this team does not go to at least one Super Bowl in the next 5 years.
Definitely.
The Lions are up, and one of the biggest things I'll hammer home with the Lions as we enter 2026 is I thought a regression from a win-loss standpoint from 24 to 25 was inevitable. And you can go back to the 2025 Lions team preview. I said it then. I still thought that they were a Super Bowl caliber team, but I thought it was going to be a clear regression year in the sense of them not being able to repeat 15-win seasons. And that also applied to the Minnesota Vikings. I did not think they were going to have back-to-back 14-win seasons. But the way the Lions lost games last year, I thought was very almost anti-Dan Campbell-esque Lions losses. They were very much, at times, I can't believe we're in this situation as a team. And I know Lions fans were very much frustrated with how the season played out. They were very frustrated with the offensive coordinator going from Ben Johnson to John Morton.
I'll be honest. I think that he's a great leader of men, but I don't think Dan Campbell is going to win you a championship. Sorry. Don't think Dan Campbell is winning you that chip. Don't think, I think he's a culture rebuilder for sure, but he's a culture rebuilder to pass it off to another guy, and that guy's going to win you the championship. Gotta be real. Gotta be realistic about this shit sometimes, because Ben Johnson was his bread and butter. Lost the whole damn offense. That's what I feel. Holy shit, what the fuck's going on? What the helly?
Lost games
Crazy,
last year, I thought was very almost anti
Crazy.
Dan Campbell-esque Lions losses. They were very much, at times, I can't believe we're in this situation as a team. And I know Lions fans were very much frustrated with how the season played out. They were very frustrated with the offensive coordinator going from Ben Johnson to John Morton was quite the shock. And at times there were games where I don't think the 2024 Lions would have lost, especially in the manner they did. And for me personally, watching this play out in real time, this was a team that had not lost back-to-back games since early in the 2022 season. And there were graphics all throughout the couple of loss span they had from week 15 through week 17 when they lost 3 in a row to the Rams, Steelers, and Vikings that this was the first time in over 3 years that they lost back-to-back games. I would be kind of surprised if they lose more than 2 games in a row this year. Again, because of how good of a team and how good of a roster this is. But
the roster's only as good as you know how to utilize it. Isn't that right, huh? So truthfully, I still think that the Lions are a contender. I feel like they're a dark horse, or more of a dark horse than the Vikings, in my opinion. Jared Goff can throw for 5,000 yards, 50 touchdowns, and 3 interceptions. And I'm still going to be like, I just don't fuck with him. I just don't think he's the guy that's going to lead you to a championship. I've just been saying that since he got, traded to the Lions. Really, when he was on the Rams, they lost him the Super Bowl. That's why I've been saying that shit. Just being honest with you. I ain't going to sit here and lie to you. I'm very brutal. So, hopefully, they can make a playoff run. But, as long as the Bears can win a division or get into the playoffs, I'll take either one. Of course, winning a division is a talking shit title. But either one is cool, man. As long as we can make it to the playoffs and be one of these fuck niggas in the playoffs, I'm happy. Because at the end of the day, we run the North. If you want to get the North, you got to go through Chicago. You know that. They know that. We all know it. Have to set that straight and get that out there. But I appreciate everybody that tuned in. Probably going to be back live a little later. Be on back tuned in for that too on Funnel Grade, man. Chala holla, you know what I'm saying? Follow a nigga.